What is up, guys? The doctor is back in the office. In this video, we're going to be matchmaking all the fights that we want to see following the completion of UFC 327, Jiri Prochazka, whatever happened there, versus Carlos Ulberg, the new light heavyweight champion. I can't believe I am saying that. Now, if you're a fan of Tatiana Suarez or Pitbull and you're all excited, especially if you're a Tatiana Suarez fan, I am not talking about them and matchmaking them. I don't care about them. Pitbull, fuck you. Tatiana Suarez, good performance. So if you're a fan of them, maybe click off this video right now because this is the only point that I'm ever talking about them. But if you're not, remember to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for 100 subscribers. We hit that milestone, fucking 10,000 soon. But let's start off with the champion, Carlos Ulberg, because he sustained a pretty serious knee injury to his ACL. You know, there's been guys in the past, not necessarily in MMA, who have come back from ACL injuries before the 9-month timeline. Some people could even come back in 6 months. You've seen it in sports before. Now, I don't really think that's going to happen because the odds of you re-tearing your ACL if you come back before that 9-month period is like 7 times greater that you re-tear your ACL. So I'm not expecting that. If Carlos Ulberg is out for 9 months to a year, which I expect him to be, they could strip him. I mean, we've seen them do it to Jamal Hill, to Jiri Prochazka when they were injured. So the light heavyweight, division has had a history of this. It kind of sucks too because Carlos Ulberg, and I've shit on him on this channel on Instagram before, like even if he beat Jiri Prochazka, right, like normally, like let's say he knocked him out in like the 4th round or the 2nd round, whatever it may be, at least if he was healthy, like all right, we could keep the division moving. I'm not saying he's necessarily the most interesting guy to have the belt, but at least the division can stay active and not everything stalls. You don't have to get on all this vacant or interim belt nonsense. But now you kind of have to get into that. And one more point on Carlos Ulberg that I want to touch on. That was a fucking badass KO. I don't care. Like, I'm a Jiri fan all the way. And the problem is that kind of KO has almost got overshadowed by how stupid Jiri was. Because for Carlos Ulberg to knock out Jiri Prochazka with kind of not being able to put a ton of weight on one leg and to be able to generate that much power in the hips and land cleanly on Jiri Prochazka is insane. That's a gangster fucking knockout. It's one of the craziest knockouts, probably the craziest knockout I've ever seen. I guess like Max versus Justin, but that was even wilder because the fight just seemed fucking over. So sick knockout for Carlos Ulberg. I do hope he makes a recovery. Again, I'm not necessarily excited that he's the champion, but whatever. He is the champion right now. I think it's going to become a vacant or interim, but realistically, if he's healthy enough, you're probably giving him a Paulo Costa, in my opinion. But for now, he's going to be facing off with Dr. James Andrews in the operating room, one of the world-renowned orthopedic surgeons in the world. I'm pretty sure this guy worked on like Andrew Luck, a bunch of professional athletes. But let's get into who's going to fight for this interim or vacant belt, because I think you got a couple dudes you could do. Like Magomed Ankalaev, former champion, just got smoked out by Alex Pereira. And the UFC, do they really want him near the belt? Probably not, maybe. I don't really know, but it's like, who else are you going to? Costa just slimed out Murzakanov. I think he's definitely going to be in this conversation. Murzakanov was supposed to be the next guy up. If he beat Paulo Costa, he was going to fight the winner of Jiri versus Ulberg, most likely. Jiri, I know you think you deserve a rematch. You've lost 3 straight title fights, buddy. You are not getting a rematch. We'll talk about him later, but you're not getting there. Khamzat Chimaev, I also think, is an option to be a guy to step up the fight for the interim or the vacant belt. He's obviously eyeing a move to 205. He's got to feel like the division looks so thin right now with Ulberg out, Jiri losing. He's like, who's that number 1 guy? I don't really know. He could definitely do it. I think Chimaev will definitely jump up to 205 at one point. But for now, my guess is it's going to be Magomed Ankalaev versus Paulo Costa. And I actually think this is a pretty winnable matchup for Paulo Costa. I mean, Ankalaev's a southpaw. Costa's really shown that he could beat up on southpaws throughout his career. Showed it recently against Roman Kopylov, put on a masterclass against him, and beat the shit out of Azamat Murzakanov in that 3rd round. Head kicks, abusing him with the body kicks. Just look so sharp. Inside calf kicks, moving around the octagon really well. Just Costa looks like a fucking tank at 205. And I think Ankalaev, his grappling is a little bit overrated. I think he is well-rounded, but Costa should be able to handle his grappling well. I do think this is winnable for him. I don't really know who I would pick yet because I kind of got to go into the film on Ankalaev a little bit more. But man, how Costa's looked against southpaws, you saw the New York really come out of me there, makes me confident that he could beat Magomed Ankalaev. And listen, Then we're talking Paulo Costa versus Hamza Chimaev for the fucking belt. You're getting fired up. We finally get that matchup. I would be pretty excited for this. But I guess for now, Magomed Ankalaev versus Paulo Costa could make sense for a vacant or an interim light heavyweight championship belt, depending on what happens with Carlos Ulberg. Hold on, guys. I hear fucking music. Is that cowbell? I need more cowbell? All the times have come. Why is that fucking playing? Here and now they're gone. Seasons don't feel the reaper. Seasons don't feel the reaper. Come on, baby, don't feel the... Hey, let me tell you something. Yeah, I just want Lucas Tracy right there. How fucking fire would it be if we got the fucking reaper in the mix here? 205's pretty dead, guys. I mean, I'm just being honest. 205, the light heavyweight division's fucking dead. The reaper's coming up from middleweight, little lighter man skill. Him and Paulo Costa. The rematch at 205, the first fight at 185 was fucking insane. Bobby Knuckles versus Paulo Costa too. Fucking lighter man skill, double lighter man skill for Robert Whittaker. He also fought at welterweight. For Robert Whittaker to become a 2-division champ, who the fuck doesn't want to see that? I don't care. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Robert Whittaker's on a 2-fight losing streak. First fight was great. Let's run it back. Whittaker was eating some fucking spinning wild kicks, wild shots, spinning back kicks. These are two warriors. I don't see why not. You guys like that little bit? Don't fear the reaper. Come on, baby, don't fear the reaper. Let's get Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa for the interim vacant. Now that fires me up. And a winner of that fights Chima. Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. That's the matchup to make. I don't make the fucking rules. Let's move on though to talk about Jiri Prochazka, my boy Jiri. I have to go silent right now. That was one of the worst moments of my life. I didn't go to bed till 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I went on a run after because I was just so distraught that he had lost to Carlos Ulberg and got knocked out. I mean, Jiri Prochazka was fucking as stiff as your cock when you saw Megan Fox for the first time, or when you see Megan Fox anytime. He was fucking stiff. He went out so brutally cold. I don't even think Pereira had put him out that way, but that was insane. Nobody was expecting that. Listen, even if you picked Ulberg to knock him out, just the way that it happened with Ulberg hurting his knee and then Jiri trying to like fucking point down and not attack that calf enough and try and... Because I saw some people like, well, you know, what's attacking his front leg going to do if his back leg's the one injured? You got to realize, if you're repeatedly pushing calf kicks and forcing Carlos Ulberg to move around, there's going to be more weight bearing on his back leg, eventually letting it give out. And if he just moved around more and didn't stay stationary, there's a good chance Carlos Ulberg's fucking team's throwing in the towel, and that's the fight, and Jiri Prochazka is the champion. However, we don't live in that world. We live in a world where Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa 2's happening in fucking light heavyweight. But he's lost 3 straight title fights. I don't really know what's kind of next to him, but I think we got to make a matchup that I'm shocked hasn't even happened yet. Jan Blachowicz versus Jiri Prochazka. I've seen this floated out by a couple guys. It's also assuming Jan beats Bogdan Guskov, because Guskov also comes into play later in this video. Like, could they do Guskov versus Jiri? Yeah, maybe. But maybe they do this even if Jan loses, because Jan Blachowicz, fucking crafty-ass vet, really powerful kicks to the calf, can grapple effectively, you know, is methodical, has power, is not really going to put an insane output on you, but is a very smart fighter. I would still pick Jiri here, just more dynamic, younger. I feel like he wins. The fight IQ obviously is not there, but part of me really thinks we're going to get like an evil Jiri arc where we just get I still believe in Jiri Prochazka. I'm never going to give up on this guy, but Jan Blachowicz is not an easy task. I think going down to 185 is also an option. At least I've seen that, and I've kind of explored that a little bit on this channel. I personally wouldn't be for that, because I think his chin is going to be worse. And I know he only cuts like 10 pounds or whatever it is for 205, but he's already kind of, you know, he is chinny. I mean, the guy does get hit pretty. He's defensively irresponsible. So I don't know. I wouldn't really like a 185 move for him, but I like Jiri Prochazka versus Jan Blachowicz. Moving on, though, to Azamat Murzakanov, Evil Volk, everybody's favorite fat European or Russian taxi driver. Nobody really likes him, and I'm sure the UFC is like slightly happy that they don't have to see Azamat Murzakanov anywhere near the belt. Let's be honest, he's getting banished back to the Apex where he'll just slime out dudes in the Apex. Maybe he'll get fluked every now and then. Maybe he gets fluked by this guy that I'm matching him up with. Bogdan Guskov, the taxi driver versus the Hitman. This is literally a picture-perfect Apex fight. They would probably throw this to us as a main event. I think this would be like a perfect co-main. I liked Bogdan Guskov. I like Murzakanov still. He still showed stuff in that second round. And for as many body shots that he took that were fucking brutal and as much damage that absorbed on his arm trying to block them, he did have a moment in that second round where it looked like, shit, maybe he could finish Paulo Costa. So I don't think it's... I don't think Azamat Murzakanov is winning the belt by any means. He's like 50 years old, but I still think he can get back into a position where he's there for a title limiter. I'm just saying, I don't think it's impossible. Hitman versus the fat taxi cab driver. Why not? Let's do it. Moving on to the feature fight, and this one was already announced, so I don't even need to match make it. Josh Hokit versus Derek Lewis. Hilarious matchmaking. Donald Trump was literally telling Dana White, why is Derek Lewis the fat black guy? I like him. He's one of the good ones. Why is he not on the card? We love Derek Lewis in this house. He pulls his pants off and shows me and Melania's cock. I really like Derek Lewis. It's just hilarious how that went down. Donald Trump's just asking Dana White, why is Derek Lewis not on the card? And Dana's like, hold on a second. We're going to get him a matchup. Josh Hokit, who literally had one of the greatest heavyweight fights you've ever seen, probably sustained 10 concussions for the shots that him and Curtis Blaydes were throwing at each other, is going to bounce back in 2 months. The pay that he must have got for this fight must have been insane. Just him bouncing back after that war is just wild to me. But listen, some people might say, oh, Derek Lewis, he could fluke this guy. My whole thing with Derek Lewis is he only flukes fat Brazilian taxi cab drivers and dudes who suck. And Josh Hokit's not Brazilian. He is fat. And he doesn't suck, though. He just beat a legit top 5 guy in Curtis Blaydes. He has legitimate skills and is an actual athlete. So I don't think Derek Lewis would win this one. And Derek Lewis, the fact that we're putting this dude on the White House card, and I'm not pissed that we're putting this fight in particular on the White House card, because I'm like, well, I don't mind having another fight that I'm like, it'll be interesting to watch Derek Lewis flop on the ground like a fucking fish. Derek Lewis literally quit to not even a power jab from Waldo Cortez Acosta. Waldo hit him with a fucking jab, and Derek Lewis just slowly collapsed to the ground. Like he fainted in slow motion. That was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. You don't even know. Derek Lewis might not even train for this fight. There are some fights where I question if he's ever trained for them. I don't think he's going to fluke Josh Hokit. I kind of expect Josh Hokit to run through him. I thought there was a chance Hokit was going to get, he was going to call it the winner of Volkov versus Waldo. You could make an argument, though, because I did think that made sense in the moment, but it's also like, well, his only win in the top 10 is against Curtis Blaydes. It's like, well, if he's calling out the I don't know, the technical number 1 contender or number 2 contender, that's kind of crazy. So I wouldn't have, I don't know, it didn't bother me a ton that they're doing this, because I think he kind of needs another win, and then maybe because I think Waldo would beat the shit out of him. He could beat Hokit. Hokit could beat Hokit. He could beat Volkov. I don't think that's impossible, but I still would lean Volkov and Waldo in those matchups. Definitely Waldo, but he's going to run through Derek Lewis. It'll be fucking hilarious. He's going to teabag him. I think there's a chance Derek Lewis takes his pants off and rubs his balls in Josh Hokit's face. If he wins, I like adding another fight to the White House card. I'll say that, because if Dana White's going to come out here and say it's going to be the greatest card of all time, let me get Derek Lewis fluking Josh Hokit. How funny would that be? But I think Josh Hokit's going to win this one fairly easily. Moving on to the loser of that fight, my guy, friend of the channel, Curtis Blaydes, really just friend of the Instagram. Listen, took a shit ton of damage in that fight. The fact that he was able to put that much output on Josh Hokit's insane. He kept it standing out of spite, was like, I'm trying to knock this dude out. Came close. Couldn't really get it done. Fractured his orbital bone, so he's going to be out for a while on top of whatever fucking concussions he has. Just took years off of each other's life. So, like, he kind of does deserve another fun fight, and that's why I was seeing some people say, like, maybe he fights, like, a Petrino or, I don't know, some other back kind of, or Walter Walker, like another fun fight like that. But I'm kind of like, can we just give him somebody a little bit easier who's kind of a prospect? Let's give him, Tyrell Fortune. Tyrell Fortune, obviously former Bellator guy. These guys are on kind of similar timelines. Fortune just fought March 28th against Mohsin Saibura. Mohsin Saibura, he's absolutely shit. Was that the card? Was that the fight where Bruce Buffer read out the wrong card? It was the fight where Bruce Buffer read out the wrong card. Tyler Fortune, kind of a decent prospect. He beat Tybor, the GOAT gatekeeper, who I don't really think is that good anymore. I think Blaydes would win this one, just gets him back in the win column. I don't know. And maybe you're thinking it's kind of wrong because he took that Hokit fight and that was dangerous. But I don't know. I just want to give him a little bit of an easier one. And Fortune's pretty, like, maybe I should have said I guarantee a win for Blaydes here. But Fortune, he could wrestle. He has power. He's decent. I like this fight. A little two fat black guys going at it. Who doesn't want to see two fat black guys jiggling around in the octagon? Moving on to Dominick Reyes, my fucking boy, Stony Brook football legend. The title run is still on. The title run is still fucking on. Hey, if we knocked out Johnny Walker, let me tell you something now. The floodgates have been opened, or you could probably convince me anybody in the top 15 other than like Johnny Walker could make a run at the belt at this point over the next year. Like, legitimately, if you can market yourself, maybe you get a run, you get a shot at the belt. But the title run's alive for Dominick Reyes. I still think we could get the belt back. And I matched this fight up months ago. I know like Bedtime is also matched it up, but I was on this too before seeing his video. So fucking don't anybody comment that shit. Let's do Dominick Reyes versus Khalil Rountree. Khalil needs to fight down after kind of some just weird fights. I mean, he beats Anthony Smith, gets a title shot against Alex Pereira, loses there, beats Jamal Hill on a 2-fight losing streak, wins that, fights Jiri Prochazka, is up 2 rounds and gets finished in the 3rd. So he needs the fight down. Reyes is a really good counter striker. Khalil's going to come forward at you, chopping those calf kicks. We saw Johnny Walker do that really effectively to Dominick Reyes, and that also. And Joe Rogan was acting like that that was a robbery, and Dominick Reyes will never walk again because of how devastating those Johnny Walker calf kicks were. But Khalil, he does slow down in fights, and I could see a world where he either just presses forward early and knocks out Dominick Reyes by just landing like a clean hook on his chin, or we get into the later rounds and Khalil's prodding forward and Dominick Reyes just catches him with a nasty left hook, and that's it. But these are 2 big names. 2 guys with a lot of power. Would just be fun, and this is the kind of fight that you could market out to fans as like, throw this on a pay-per-view, fight night main event, who knows. And possibilities are endless here. This is a great fight. Moving on to the loser of that fight, Johnny Walker. I don't even want to spend that much time on Johnny Walker because it was an embarrassing performance from him. I don't even think he threw a punch. I think he threw strictly calf kicks. Dustin Jacoby. And I'm meaning to do a video on this, on guys like Dustin Jacoby, Dominick Reyes. I'm trying to search for the next Glover to share, the next unk that fucking swoops in here and wins the belt. Dustin Jacoby's on a 3-fight win streak, man, and he's had a pretty good UFC career. He's beat Julius Walker in the Apex pretty badly in his last fight, Bruno Lopez, Vitor Buccino. So I know not the best names, but a 3-fight finish streak for him. He deserves a bigger name like Johnny Walker. And I think there's only like a 2 ranking difference between them, but who cares? Just get Dustin Jacoby a bigger name. It's not like Johnny Walker took any damage. He looked terrible against Dominick Reyes. Throw this on the co-main of an Apex. Both chinny, but Johnny Walker's chin is definitely worse. I think Dustin Jacoby's going to put him out bad. And then I'm starting to push narratives. Hey, Dustin Jacoby, post Dominick Reyes getting knocked out, post getting knocked out by Dominick Reyes, he's going on a Glover to share run. I don't make the fucking rules. He's winning the belt. Dustin Jacoby versus Johnny Walker. Moving down to some of the prelim guys, Aaron Pico. Now, I had a really tough time with Aaron Pico because you're like looking at the top 10 of featherweight. Everybody's fucking matched up. Volk's gonna fight fucking, I'm gonna fight, fucking the Movzar kid, and that's it done. I'm gonna finish him, and I'm gonna fucking move up and fight Ilya for the belt, and then Islam after. That was a shitty Australian accent, but that's what's gonna happen. Then you have like Diego Lopez, he's fighting Steve Garcia. You got like Zalal Aljo, Arnold Allen, Melchizedek Costa. There's a lot of dudes who are matched up in the top 10, other than like Yair Rodriguez. I think Silva, maybe he fights Yair. And then like Larone's there. Oh, let's do Larone versus Aaron Pico too. I think you kind of got to build up Aaron Pico. You know, a guy that you've kind of invested in, pretty hyped up dude that you brought in for Bellator. The Yair matchup, maybe. I also think Kevin Vicious could be an option, but it's like, I kind of want to maybe let Vicious win one more and then Pico win one more and then they fight each other. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I just kind of look at Nathaniel Wood as a possible option. I say Nathaniel Wood is pretty much ranked, in my opinion. He's definitely ranked caliber. He's better than like David Onama or Josh Emmett. So it's like, yeah, he's pretty much in the top 15. Really, this would be a really fun striking match with two dudes who can also mix the grappling in. I like this fight. I just think it'd be a really fun one to watch. This is what I want to see. I'm fucking stuttering. I want to see Aaron Pico versus Nathaniel Wood. You might say, oh, maybe you want to get Aaron Pico further into that top 10. There's just not a ton of names where I'm like, he can fight them. If he's not fighting Yair, then I'd rather him just see him fight Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood deserves a ranked guy at this point in his career. Moving on, though. And Pitbull, you're not fucking getting mentioned in this video. Pitbull, you should retire, honestly. That's my prediction for you. Moving on to Kevin Holland. Now, Kevin Holland showed up motivated. He avoided going on a 3-fight losing streak. He's never done that before. Looked pretty strong in that fight versus Randy Brown. Nearly submitted him with a Darce choke, I believe. In the second round, the third round, he was just jester maxing. I got a guy. We're just throwing Kevin Holland at the slaughter here because nobody really cares about him. Miktabek Orolbai. Orolbai gets the beat up on another dude who was a former middleweight like Jack Hermanson and Chris Curtis. He destroyed Chris Curtis in his last fight, took him down 1,000 times. Listen, these two guys have fan bases. Everybody loves Orolbai. Most people like Kevin Holland. They can sell the fights. Orolbai doesn't even have to speak. He sells the fucking fight. Kevin Holland, we're sacrificing you to Genghis Khan. Orolbai is just going to run through you, smudge you out, and you'll probably, I don't even know, you'll bitch about it. But Holland, he's kind of just outside the top 15, and there's a lot of dudes that are also outside the top 15 in the welterweight ranking, so I don't really know what you do with them. But I like Orolbai versus Kevin Holland. I feel like this is a fun one. Two pretty big unranked names. I would take Orolbai, but like fucking second round finish or like dominant decision. Moving on to Gamrot. My fucking boy, Gamer Gamrot. Realistically, let's give him Ilya. Let's give him a title shot. Let's let Gamrot smudge Ilya out. And let's let Gamrot be the champion. And I've become more and more of a Gamrot guy. The Gamrot army, which I'm leading. He's the boogeyman, man. He'll smudge your favorite unranked prospect. Look like a fucking world beater against them. He deserves a legit name. He fraud checks guys. Steps up when cards need to be saved like he did against Charles. He's always ready to fucking fight. He wanted to fight Armin. That fight never fucking happened. Actually, finally got a finish. Showed better jiu-jitsu than he's ever showed. Destroyed Esteban Ribovics. Through this hyped up prospect. He was everybody's favorite prospect of lightweight. Gamrot fucking destroyed him. I think Gamrot versus BSD. Now, there's a ton of options you can go with Gamrot. I think he could fight a Paddy. You get the Dan Hooker rematch. Armin, if they want to do the rematch there. I think there's Gamrot, you could literally fight him with fucking anybody in that top 10, and I'd be satisfied. There's a lot of big names he could do. BSD can grapple. He's a blockhead. There's going to be fun scrambles in this fight, fun grappling sequences. He hits like a fucking truck. Gamrot, we could finally see if he really gets finished out on the feet. You know what I mean? I think that would be interesting. Like, again, you could run back the Gamrot versus Armin rematch. I'm fine with that. That's a sick grappling fight. Any of the Paddies or the fucking Dan Hookers, those all make sense to me. I could see Paddy, like, if they do Paddy, it's like you don't have to risk Paddy getting KO'd. It's not like Gamrot's fucking got insane power, any power in the hands whatsoever. So you could have kind of a fun grappling match there. I think you could kind of do anything with Gamrot, and I'd be on board with it. Gamrot versus BSD, I think this would be a fun one. Just the gamer, man. This is what he does. He fucking smudges out your favorite fucking prospect and calls out Diego Lopez on the fucking... Hey, Gamrot versus... You're not fighting Diego Lopez, though, buddy. But Gamrot, man, I'm happy he's getting his fucking respect. Let's get Gamrot versus BSD. I think we have 2 more fights left, or 3 more. Esteban Ribovics, the loser of that one. I've seen this. I'm not gonna like dance around this one. Let's do Esteban versus Chris Duncan. I've seen a lot of people do this. It makes perfect sense. 2 dudes who lost their kind of opportunities against guys in the top 10. And Chris Duncan, I thought, really fumbled the ball. I thought Esteban had no chance. Gamrot's really the toughest dude that like you could fight as an unranked prospect in that top 10. Obviously, fucking besides Ilya and those guys, but they're not gonna have that fight. But 2 guys who can fucking brawl. They can fucking bang. Chris Duncan can grapple well, has good guillotine game. I think this would be a good test for Ribovics to continue to kind of show, how's my takedown defense. I just like this one. Throw this on the prelims of a number card, or it would just be a sick fight. I like Esteban Ribovics versus Chris Duncan. Moving on to our final two fights, staying in the lightweight division, Chris Padilla, really great performance. Hopefully he gets that fight overturned to a win for him because he looked really sharp against Markel Medeiros. That was a sick fight. Really showed great Muay Thai. And again, Chris Padilla, I've said it, I'll say it now. I've said it again. I've said it before. He is the jack of all trades. He can do everything. If he needs to strike with you, he's going to fucking strike with you. You see that great Muay Thai from him. If he needs to grapple with you, he can grapple with you. You can just smudge you up against the fence if he needs to. And we need to give him somebody that everybody hates. And just had a really controversial fight with Ignacio Bahamondes beat Tafik Musayev. Everybody fucking hates this guy. Oralbide subbed him with, I think, a Kimura in his first fight in the UFC. Robbed Bahamondes in his last one. Padilla's going to walk this dude down, punch him in the face, destroy him, can out-grapple him. I think this would be a really fun striking fight, a solid fight on a fight night. Padilla's won 5 in a row. He's pretty much on that outside looking into ranked. Tafik Musayev's just outside the ranking. He needs to fight, you know, winner of this fight, somebody who's either ranked or like 16th, you know what I mean? Like in the hypothetical, outside the top 15 rankings. Again, winner of this is going to get somebody ranked. Really fun striking fight. Padilla can out-grapple Tafik Musayev. I just like this one. I hope Padilla runs through Tafik Musayev. I hope make this happen. I hope he also gets that fucking draw overturned. And moving on to the last one, we're going to go Vicente Luque versus Roman Dolidze. Listen, Vicente turned back the clock there with that anaconda choke. Kelvin Gastelum essentially let him get anaconda choked. I want to see Dolidze versus Vettori 3, but like Vicente Luque, funny enough, now that he's beat Gastelum's, like he could legitimately fight a dude who's 14th or 15th or somebody right outside the top 15 in middleweight. And a lot of the guys outside of that top 15 are kind of matched up, like Fajardo's fighting Ikram Aliskerov. That's all I'm remembering. Dudes who are just outside the top 15 in middleweight, but that was just the first one that came to mind. I just think Vicente Luque versus Roman Dolidze kind of makes sense. Dolidze sucks. He was trying to be a little too grapple heavy with CLD in his last fight. That was kind of funny. Maybe Vicente Luque is going to go on a title run. Vicente Luque at middleweight looks a little bit rejuvenated. And, so Vicente Luque versus Roman Dolidze. Again, those are my predictions. Let me know what those are my matches that I want to make following UFC 327. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I mean, who doesn't want to see Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa for the fucking belt? I'm just saying, make it happen. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. The doctor is signing off. Thank you for 100 subscribers.